Hey, warriors, there's a storm brewing outside your window. Not the kind made of rain and thunder, but the kind built from noise, opinions, distractions, and expectations. The world throws chaos at your door every single day, demanding that you react, that you break, that you bend to its rhythm. It whispers that you're not enough. It shouts that you're too much. It pulls you in 1,000 directions, hoping you'll forget the one direction that matters most: inward. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words weren't written in comfort. They were carved in the margins of war, in the silence between battles, by a man who ruled an empire, yet understood that true power lives in the space between what happens to us and how we choose to respond. Life doesn't ask permission before it tests you. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It arrives unannounced, carrying heartbreak, disappointment, loss, and uncertainty. And in those moments, when the ground feels unsteady beneath your feet, you have a choice. You can let the storm consume you, or you can become the calm within it. That's not denial. That's not pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's recognizing that your reaction, your mindset, your inner dialogue holds more weight than any external force ever could. This isn't about being unfeeling. It's about being unmoved by what you cannot control. It's about understanding that 93% of the problems we carry aren't problems at all. They're reactions. They're the stories we tell ourselves when we forget who we truly are. They're the weight we pick up voluntarily and carry as if it's our identity. Today, you're going to learn 12 life lessons rooted in Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that taught emperors and slaves alike how to find peace in chaos, strength in silence, and freedom in acceptance. These aren't just concepts, they're tools. They're keys to doors you didn't know were locked, and once you open them, you'll see that the life you've been chasing was waiting inside you all along. Each lesson will challenge you, some will comfort you, others will shake the foundation of what you thought you knew, but all of them will bring you closer to the version of yourself that no longer flinches at storms because you've learned to carry your own sky. So, before we begin, I need something from you. If this message resonates, if something inside you knows you're ready for this shift, hit that like button, drop a comment, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel because we're building a community of people who refuse to stay broken. And whatever you do, don't skip a single part of this video. Every lesson builds on the last. Every word is here for a reason. This isn't content. This is transformation. The world wants a reaction, but you're about to learn how to give it a response. And that response starts with belief. If you're ready to take control, comment, "I choose my response, not my reaction." Number 1, believing in yourself is the first secret of success. No plan works. If you don't believe you're worthy of seeing it through, let's start with the hardest truth you'll hear today. Your life will never rise higher than your belief in yourself, not your talent, not your connections, not even your effort. Belief is the soil. Everything else is just the seed. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." He didn't say dream it. He didn't say wish it. He said say it to yourself first, because belief begins as a whisper in your own mind before it becomes a reality in the world. Think about the plans you've abandoned, the goals you set on January 1st that died by February. The promises you made to yourself that you broke before anyone else even knew they existed. Why did they fail? Was it lack of time, lack of resources? Or was it something quieter, something deeper? A voice inside that said, "Who are you kidding? This isn't for people like you." That voice is a liar, but it's convincing It uses your past against you. It takes every mistake, every failure, every moment you fell short, and it builds a case. It tells you that evidence of your unworthiness is stacked too high to ignore, and if you listen long enough, you'll believe it. You'll stop trying, you'll settle. You'll call it being realistic when really, you've just stopped believing you're worth the fight. But here's what Stoicism teaches. You are not your past. You are not the sum of your failures. You are the consciousness observing them, learning from them, and choosing what comes next. And that choosing power, that's sacred. That's where belief is born. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you won't stumble. It means you've decided that your potential is worth pursuing, even when the outcome is uncertain. It means you stop waiting for permission from the world and start giving it to yourself. No plan works if you're executing it while secretly hoping it fails, so you can prove yourself right about your own limitations. That's self-sabotage dressed as effort. Real belief shows up differently. It's quiet. It's steady. It doesn't need applause. It just keeps moving, one step at a time, even when no one's watching. You want to fix your problems? Start here. Start by looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I am worthy of the life I'm building. I am capable of seeing this through. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to believe I'm worth the try. Say it even if you don't fully feel it yet. Say it until the doubt gets quieter. Say it until belief becomes your default setting. Because the world is full of talented people who never made it. Full of smart people who stayed stuck. Full of dreamers who never did. And the difference? Belief. Not arrogance, not entitlement. Just a simple, solid knowing that you belong in the arena of your own life. You do. You always have. Speak this into existence below. I am worthy of every goal I set. Number 2, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. You become what you think. Guard your thoughts like treasure. Your mind is not neutral ground. It's a garden, and whatever you plant there, whatever you water, whatever you allow to take root, that's what grows. You can't scatter seeds of doubt, worry, and bitterness and expect to harvest peace. It doesn't work that way. It never has. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Read that again. Most of the pain you carry isn't happening to you right now. It happened yesterday, or you fear it will happen tomorrow. But right now, in this present moment, you're safe, you're breathing, you're here. Yet your mind convinces you otherwise because you've trained it to search for danger, to expect disappointment, to rehearse disaster. That's what a negative mind does. It doesn't protect you, it imprisons you. It takes a single setback and turns it into a life sentence. It takes one person's opinion and makes it your identity. It takes uncertainty and paints it black before you've even seen what color it actually is. And here's the cruelest part. You become what you think, not sometimes, not eventually, always. Your thoughts shape your emotions drive your actions create your results, and those results, they reinforce the very thoughts that started the cycle. If you think you're unworthy, you'll act unworthy. If you act unworthy, you'll attract situations that confirm it. And then you'll say, "See, I knew I wasn't good enough," but you weren't predicting the future. You were creating it. This is why guarding your thoughts isn't optional. It's survival. You wouldn't drink poison and expect your body to thrive. So why consume toxic thoughts and expect your life to flourish? Every time you replay that criticism, every time you predict failure, every time you tell yourself you're not capable, you're drinking poison. And the damage is real, even if it's invisible. But the opposite is also true. When you guard your mind, when you become intentional about what you allow in, everything shifts. you start to notice that most of your problems aren't external, they're internal interpretations. The situation didn't defeat you. Your thoughts about the situation did. And if your thoughts created the prison, your thoughts can also build the key. Start small. Catch yourself when negativity creeps in. Don't judge it. Don't fight it. Just notice it. Say, "That's a thought, not a truth." Replace it with something that serves you, not fake positivity, not pretending everything's perfect, just something real and constructive. This is hard, but I've handled hard before. I don't have the answer yet, but I'm capable of finding it. This hurts, but it won't hurt forever. Your mind will resist at first. It's been practicing negativity for years. It's comfortable there, but you're stronger than your habits. You're more powerful than your patterns. And every time you choose a better thought, you're building a better life. Negativity is a thief. It robs you of joy, energy, hope, and possibility. And the worst part, you're the one who opened the door, but you can also close it. You can stand guard. You can decide that your mind is sacred ground, and only thoughts that build you up are allowed to stay. Guard it like treasure, because it is. Drop this powerful truth. I guard my mind with intention and strength. Number 3. Don't count the days. Make the days count. Time doesn't wait. Use each day to leave a mark, not a tally. You're not promised tomorrow. I know you know that. But do you live like you know it? Or do you scroll, postpone, and tell yourself you'll start living when the timing's better, when you're ready, when things settle down? Marcus Aurelius said, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." That's not morbid, that's clarity. Because the moment you realize time isn't infinite, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. We count days like we're keeping score. Only 2 more days until Friday. Just 30 more days until vacation. 5 more years until retirement. We measure time by how fast we can escape the present, and in doing so, we miss the only time we actually have. Now. You're not living in the future. You're not living in the past. You're living right now. And this moment, this unremarkable, ordinary Tuesday afternoon, is your life. Not the highlight reel, not the big moments you're waiting for. This, right here. So, the question isn't how many days you have left. The question is, what are you doing with the one you're standing in? Making the days count doesn't mean every moment has to be extraordinary. It means you stop sleepwalking through your own existence. It means you show up, you engage, you choose presence over numbness, you stop treating today like a placeholder for someday. Maybe making today count means having that conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it means finally starting the project that's been living in your head for months. Maybe it's as simple as putting your phone down and actually looking at the people you love. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be intentional. Time doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't pause for your fear or your doubt or your excuses. It moves forward, indifferent and unstoppable, and every day you spend waiting for the perfect moment is a day you'll never get back. There is no perfect moment. There's only this one, and it's already slipping through your fingers. The Stoics understood this deeply. They practiced memento mori. Remember, you must die, not to be depressing, but to be awake. To remember that life is short and precious, and not to be squandered on resentment, distraction, or delay. They knew that the awareness of death isn't the enemy of life. It's the fuel for it. So stop counting, stop waiting, stop treating your days like they're disposable. Each one is a gift, wrapped in 24 hours, given to you with no guarantee of another. You can spend it mindlessly, or you can spend it meaningfully. You can let it pass, or you can leave a mark, on yourself, on others, on the world. And that mark doesn't have to be visible to everyone. It just has to be real to you. It's the decision to be kinder today, to try harder, to forgive faster, to love deeper, to stop postponing the life you say you want and start building it one present moment at a time. The days are counting themselves. The question is, are you making them count? Commit to this moment. Type, "Today is my life and I will live it fully." Number 4. If you can stay positive in a negative situation, you win. Calm is your power. Your response is your victory. Winning doesn't always look like triumph. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like walking away. Sometimes it looks like staying steady when everything around you is falling apart. That's not weakness. That's mastery. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Those words have echoed through centuries because they hold a truth most people never grasp. You can't control the chaos, but you can control yourself within it. And that control? That's where your real power lives. Negative situations are inevitable. Betrayal, loss, disappointment, failure. They're not anomalies. They're part of the human experience. The world doesn't owe you fairness. It doesn't owe you easy. It just is. And within that reality, you have one choice that changes everything: how you respond. Most people react. They explode. They collapse. They let the negativity infect them until they become the very energy they're trying to escape. They match anger with anger, chaos with chaos, pain with bitterness. And in doing so, they lose twice, once to the situation and once to themselves. But staying positive in a negative situation doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It doesn't mean slapping on a smile and ignoring the hurt. It means choosing not to let the situation steal your peace. It means refusing to give your power away to circumstances, people, or outcomes you can't control. Think about the last time someone tried to provoke you. Maybe they insulted you, dismissed you, or pushed your buttons intentionally. If you reacted, if you snapped back, if you let them pull you into their storm, they won. They controlled your emotions. They dictated your energy. But if you stayed calm, if you responded with clarity instead of chaos, if you refused to match their frequency, you won. Not because you dominated them, but because you remained sovereign over yourself. Calm is not passive. Calm is power in its purest form. It's the ability to stand in the fire without becoming the flame. It's the strength to witness negativity without absorbing it. It's the discipline to pause, breathe, and choose your response instead of surrendering to your impulse. The Stoics called this apatheia. Not apathy, but freedom from destructive emotions. It's the practice of observing what's happening without being swept away by it. It's the wisdom to know that your peace is more valuable than proving a point, winning an argument, or getting revenge. When you stay positive in negative situations, you send a message to yourself and the world. I am not a puppet of my circumstances. I'm not controlled by external chaos. I choose my state of mind. I choose my energy. I choose my response. And that choice is my victory. This doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice. It takes catching yourself mid-reaction and redirecting. It takes reminding yourself that losing your calm is losing the game, no matter how justified your anger feels. But every time you choose calm over chaos, you become stronger. Every time you refuse to be shaken, you build unshakable character. Negative situations will test you. Let them. And when they do, show them who you've become. Show them that you can't be broken by what you can no longer control. Let the world see your strength. Comment, "My calm is my victory." Number 5. Your greatest asset in the world is your mindset. Nothing outside you matters more than what you believe inside. Strip away the money, strip away the status, the titles, the possessions, the achievements. Take it all. What's left? Your mindset. And that, more than anything you'll ever own, determines the quality of your life. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, not your circumstances, not your bank account, not who likes you or who doesn't, your thoughts, because your mindset is the lens through which you see everything. Change the lens and you change the world." Two people can face the same obstacle. One sees a dead end, the other sees a detour. Same situation, different mindsets, different outcomes. One quits, one adapts, one blames, one learns. And years later, their lives look nothing alike. Not because they were dealt different cards, but because they played the same cards differently. Your mindset isn't fixed. It's not something you're born with and stuck with forever. It's something you build, shape, and refine every single day through the thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you reinforce, and the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible. A scarcity mindset sees limits everywhere. It says there's not enough opportunity, not enough love, not enough success to go around. It hoards, it competes, it fears, and it creates a life that reflects those fears, small, defensive, and always lacking. But an abundance mindset sees possibility. It says, if not this, then something better. It trusts, it grows. It believes that setbacks are setups and that every closed door is redirecting you toward the right one. And it creates a life that reflects that belief, expansive, generous, and always evolving. The truth is, nothing outside you has the power your mindset has. You can have wealth and be miserable. You can have health and feel empty. You can have success and still feel like a failure, because external things don't complete you. They amplify what's already inside. If your mindset is broken, success will just give you a bigger platform to suffer on. But if your mindset is strong, if it's rooted in gratitude, resilience, and growth, you can face loss and still find meaning. You can face failure and still find hope. You can face uncertainty and still find peace, because you've built an inner foundation that no external storm can shake. This is your greatest asset, not what you have, what you believe, not what happens to you, how you interpret it, not where you are, where you're capable of going when you shift the way you think. Start treating your mindset like the treasure it is. Protect it from negativity, feed it with wisdom, challenge it when it limits you, expand it when it feels too small. Your mindset is not static, it's alive, and it's waiting for you to take control of it. The world will try to shape your mindset for you. It will tell you what to fear, what to want, what to believe about yourself. But you don't have to accept that programming. You can reprogram yourself. You can choose beliefs that serve you. You can build a mindset that builds the life you actually want. That's your power. That's your asset. Use it. Declare your power in the comments. My mindset is my greatest wealth. Number 6. Don't quit. Nothing lasts forever, not even pain. The night always breaks into morning. Endurance reveals light. You're standing in the dark right now, aren't you? Maybe not physically, but somewhere inside, there's a part of you that feels like the weight will never lift, like the struggle is permanent, like this is just how life is going to be from now on. I need you to hear this. You're wrong. And that's the best news you'll get today. Nothing lasts forever, not even pain, not even this. The Stoics had a phrase for this, amor fati, love of fate. Not because everything that happens is good, but because everything that happens is temporary. Pain is a visitor, not a resident. It knocks on your door, it stays for a season, and then it leaves. But only if you don't quit before it does. Quitting feels like relief in the moment. It feels like the rational choice when you're exhausted, when you've tried everything, when nothing seems to be working. But quitting is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You stop the pain, yes, but you also stop the possibility. You close the door right before it was about to open. Think about the darkest night you've ever experienced. Maybe it was grief, maybe it was failure, maybe it was loneliness so heavy you didn't think you'd survive it. But you did. You're here, you made it through. And somewhere along the way, without you even noticing, the night broke. Morning came. Not because you forced it, not because you deserved it, simply because that's what morning does. It comes. Endurance isn't glamorous. It doesn't get applause. It's not the highlight reel moment people celebrate. It's the quiet decision you make at 3 a.m. when no one's watching and every part of you wants to give up. But you don't. You take one more breath. You wake up one more day. You try one more time. That's endurance. And that's where light is born. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Your pain isn't pointless. It's building something inside you that comfort never could. It's teaching you that you're stronger than you thought. It's proving that you can hold on when letting go would be easier. And one day, when you're standing in the light again, you'll look back and realize that the dark wasn't trying to destroy you. It was trying to refine you. But you have to stay. You have to endure. You have to trust that the sun doesn't stop rising just because you can't see it yet. It's still there, waiting on the other side of your perseverance. Quitting guarantees one thing: you'll never know what was possible if you had just held on a little longer. You'll never see the breakthrough that was one step away. You'll never meet the version of yourself that pain was preparing you to become. So don't quit. Not today. Not when you're this close. The night is long, but it's not infinite. Morning is coming, and when it does, you'll be standing there, not because it was easy, but because you refused to let the dark convince you it was forever. Endurance reveals light, always has, always will. Number 7. The way you speak to yourself matters the most. Your inner voice writes your story. Let it speak with respect. There's a voice inside your head that never stops talking. It narrates your day. It judges your choices. It predicts your future. And here's the part most people never realize. That voice has more influence over your life than any other voice you'll ever hear. Not your parents, not your partner, not your boss. You. The way you speak to yourself is writing your story in real time. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be good, first believe that you are bad." But he didn't mean stay there. He meant be honest about where you are so you can grow from it, not so you can crucify yourself daily for not being perfect. There's a difference between accountability and abuse, and most people have crossed that line without even noticing. Listen to how you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. Do you say, "I messed up, but I'll learn from this"? Or do you say, "I'm so stupid. I always ruin everything. I'll never get it right"? One is feedback, the other is warfare. And if you're waging war against yourself, you've already lost. You wouldn't let a stranger talk to you the way you talk to yourself. You'd defend yourself. You'd walk away. You'd recognize it as cruel and unacceptable. But when the cruelty comes from within, you call it honesty. You call it realism. You call it motivation. But it's none of those things. It's self-destruction disguised as self-awareness. Your inner voice doesn't just describe your reality, it creates it. When you tell yourself you're not good enough, you start acting like someone who's not good enough. You shrink, you hesitate, you self-sabotage, And then you point to the results as proof that you were right all along, but you weren't predicting your failure, you were scripting it. The most powerful shift you can make is learning to speak to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love, with patience, with kindness, with the understanding that growth is messy and mistakes are part of the process. You don't need to be harsher on yourself to be better. You need to be wiser. Start paying attention. Catch the negative self-talk before it spirals. When you hear, "I can't do this," pause, reframe, "I can't do this yet, but I'm learning." When you hear, "I'm a failure," stop, correct. "I failed at something, but I am not my failures." Words matter, and the words you speak to yourself matter most. Your inner voice is the pen writing your autobiography. Every harsh word is a chapter of suffering. Every compassionate word is a chapter of healing. You get to decide what kind of story you're telling. You get to decide if you're the hero overcoming obstacles or the victim drowning in them. Respect yourself enough to speak with respect. You're not perfect. You're not supposed to be. But you are worthy of your own kindness. You are deserving of your own grace. And the moment you start treating yourself like someone worth believing in, everything changes. Your inner voice will be with you for the rest of your life. Make peace with it. Make it an ally. Let it speak with the respect you've always deserved. Make this vow to yourself below. I speak to myself with kindness and respect. Number 8. There is no growth without discomfort. Comfort protects the familiar. Discomfort builds the future. You've been taught to avoid discomfort, to seek ease, to make life as smooth and painless as possible. And while comfort feels safe, it's also a cage. Because nothing grows in comfort, not strength, not character, not wisdom. Comfort protects what you already have. Discomfort builds what you don't. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He wasn't speaking in riddles. He was telling you that the obstacle isn't blocking your path. It is your path. The discomfort you're avoiding is the exact place where your transformation lives. Think about every version of yourself you've ever been proud of. The one who overcame heartbreak. The one who pushed through fear. The one who stood up when it would have been easier to stay down. You didn't become that person in your comfort zone. You became that person because you were forced out of it, dragged through discomfort, and rebuilt on the other side. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It shows you where you're weak, so you can become strong. It exposes where you're stuck, so you can break free. It reveals what you're capable of when comfort is no longer an option. But most people run from it. They numb it. They avoid it. They choose the familiar pain of staying small over the unfamiliar pain of growing. And that's the trap. Comfort feels like safety, but it's really stagnation. It's the slow death of potential. It's the life you settle for because the life you want requires you to be uncomfortable first. It requires you to try and fail, to look foolish, to not know the answers, to feel awkward, uncertain and exposed. And most people would rather stay comfortable and unfulfilled than be uncomfortable and alive. But you're not most people. If you were, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening. You'd be scrolling past, looking for the easy answer, the shortcut, the way to grow without the growing pains. But there isn't one. There never was. Growth lives in the repetitions you don't want to do, in the conversations you're afraid to have, in the risks you're not sure you're ready for. It lives in the moment you choose the harder right over the easier wrong. That's where the future version of yourself is born, in the discomfort you stop running from. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. They fasted. They slept on hard floors. They imagined losing everything they had. Not because they were masochists, but because they understood that resilience is built, not given. They knew that if you only operate in comfort, the moment life takes it away, and it will, you'll crumble. But if you train yourself to be comfortable with discomfort, nothing can break you. So stop waiting for it to feel easy. It won't. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. It won't. Stop waiting for growth to feel comfortable. It never does. Lean into the discomfort. Embrace it. Let it shape you. Let it stretch you beyond the boundaries you've been hiding behind. Comfort protects who you are. Discomfort creates who you're becoming. And the future you want? It's waiting on the other side of the discomfort you're avoiding right now. If you're choosing growth over comfort, say, I embrace discomfort as my path to growth. Number 9. Keep it private until it's permanent. Silence preserves strength. Let actions speak when they're ready. You've felt it before. That rush of excitement when you set a new goal. That urge to tell everyone what you're about to do, who you're about to become, how everything's about to change. And maybe you did tell them. You announced it, you posted it, you made it public. And then what happened? The energy faded, the motivation dried up, the goal quietly died, and no one asked about it, because talking about it gave you the satisfaction without the work. The Stoics understood something most people miss. Premature celebration kills momentum. When you speak too soon, you trade the fuel of action for the sugar rush of validation. You get the applause before the performance, and once you've gotten the reward, why do the work? Seneca said, if you wish to be loved, love. Simple, quiet, action over announcement. He didn't say talk about loving people. He said do it. Let the love speak for itself. The same applies to every goal, every dream, every promise you make to yourself. Keep it private until it's permanent. Let your actions do the talking. There's power in silence. When you work in private, when you build without broadcasting, when you move without the need for witnesses, you protect your energy. You keep it contained. You invest it in the work instead of spending it on explaining the work. And that energy compounds. It builds. It becomes something undeniable. But when you share too soon, you invite opinions you didn't ask for, doubt you didn't need, questions that make you second-guess yourself. People will project their fears onto your dreams. They'll tell you why it won't work, not because they're cruel, but because they've never done it themselves. And their skepticism becomes noise in your head, drowning out the quiet knowing that made you start in the first place. Silence also protects you from the pressure of performance. When no one knows what you're building, you're free to fail privately. You're free to pivot, adjust, and learn without the weight of public expectation. You're free to grow at your own pace without the world watching and judging every misstep. This isn't about secrecy. It's about sanctity. Your goals are sacred. Your growth is sacred. Not everything needs to be shared. Not everything needs an audience. Some things are meant to be held close, nurtured in silence, and revealed only when they've matured into something real. Think of a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You don't invite the neighborhood to watch it sprout. You plant it, water it, and trust the process. And one day, without announcement, it breaks through the soil. That's how transformation works. Quietly, privately, until it's ready to be seen. So keep your plans to yourself. Work in silence. Let your results be the announcement. Let your transformation be the proof. Let your consistency be the statement. And when it's permanent, when it's undeniable, when it's no longer just a goal but a reality, then you can share, not for validation, not for applause, but as evidence that silence and action build what words never could. Silence preserves strength. Let your actions speak when they're ready. Comment this if you understand the power of silence. I build in silence and let success make the noise. Number 10. Never tolerate disrespect, not even from yourself. Self-worth starts with how you treat your own reflection. You've drawn lines in the sand. You've decided what you'll accept from others and what you won't. You know when someone crosses a boundary. You recognize disrespect when it comes from outside. But here's the question no one asks. Do you recognize it when it comes from within? Every time you break a promise to yourself, that's disrespect. Every time you ignore your own needs to please someone else, that's disrespect. Every time you settle for less than you deserve because you don't believe you're worth more, that's disrespect. And it's the most dangerous kind because it's self-inflicted. It's the wound you keep reopening while wondering why you're not healing. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears." But what happens when you're the one causing the injury? What happens when the disrespect isn't coming from the world, but from the person staring back at you in the mirror? Self-respect isn't arrogance. It's not thinking you're better than anyone else. It's simply refusing to treat yourself worse than anyone else. It's recognizing that if you wouldn't accept certain words, behaviors, or standards from another person, you shouldn't accept them from yourself either. You wouldn't let someone you love talk to themselves the way you talk to you. You wouldn't watch them neglect their health, ignore their dreams, or stay in situations that drain them without saying something. So why is it acceptable when you do it to yourself? Why do you get the leftovers of your own life? Why are you everyone else's priority but your own afterthought? Self-worth begins the moment you decide you matter, not when you achieve something, not when someone validates you, not when the conditions are perfect, right now, as you are, flawed, imperfect, still growing, you matter. And how you treat yourself teaches the world how to treat you. When you tolerate your own disrespect, you set the standard. You signal to yourself and everyone watching that this is acceptable, that you're negotiable, that your boundaries are suggestions, not requirements, and people will treat you exactly as you treat yourself. With the same level of care, attention, and respect, you show your own worth. Stop waiting for permission to honor yourself. Stop apologizing for having standards. Stop shrinking so others feel comfortable. You're allowed to expect more from yourself and for yourself. You're allowed to walk away from what diminishes you, even if what's diminishing you is your own behavior. The Stoics believed in oikeiosis, the idea that self-care is the foundation of all other virtues. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't love others well if you treat yourself with contempt. You can't build a meaningful life if you're constantly tearing yourself down. So, start treating yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Speak kindly, set boundaries, keep promises, prioritize rest, say no when you need to, say yes when it serves you, stop betraying yourself to keep the peace, stop accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole table. Disrespect ends the moment you refuse to participate in it, even when it's coming from you, especially when it's coming from you. Because self-worth isn't something you find. It's something you build, one respectful choice at a time. Stand in your worth. Type below, "I honor myself with every choice I make." Number 11. Better days are coming. Be patient. Storms don't last. Hope is a quiet seed with strong roots. You're tired of waiting, tired of holding on, tired of believing that better days are coming when all you see is more of the same. I understand. Patience feels like punishment when you're hurting. It feels like denial when you're desperate for change. But patience isn't passive. It's not sitting still and hoping the universe takes pity on you. It's active trust. It's continuing to plant seeds even when the harvest feels impossibly far away. Seneca said, "All cruelty springs from weakness." And sometimes the cruelty is the voice in your head telling you that this is all there is, that it won't get better, that hoping is foolish and patience is pointless. But that voice is weak. It's afraid. It's trying to protect you from disappointment by convincing you to stop believing. Don't listen to it. Better days are coming. Not because you wish for them, not because you deserve them, but because storms, by their very nature, don't last. They move through. They exhaust themselves. They clear the air and leave space for light. And you're in the middle of a storm right now, but that doesn't mean you'll be in it forever. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what you can with what you have, while trusting that your effort isn't wasted just because you can't see the results yet. A farmer doesn't plant a seed and dig it up the next day to check for progress. They water it, they tend the soil, they trust the process. And weeks later, something breaks through the surface. Not because they forced it, because they were patient enough to let it grow. You're growing too, even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when the progress is invisible. Even when every day looks the same. Beneath the surface, roots are forming. Strength is building. The version of you that's going to walk into those better days is being shaped right now, in the waiting, in the patience, in the moments you chose to keep going even when you couldn't see the point. Hope is not naive. It's not pretending everything's fine. It's the quiet knowing that seasons change, that pain is temporary, that the hard doesn't erase the possibility of the beautiful. Hope is a seed. You can't see it when it's planted, you can't see it while it's buried, but it's alive, it's working, and one day it will bloom. So be patient with your healing, be patient with your progress, be patient with the timing of your life. Everything you're working toward is still coming. Everything you've prayed for is still possible. It just hasn't arrived yet. And that doesn't mean it won't. It means you're not done becoming the person who's ready to receive it. The storm will pass. The sun will return. Better days are not a fantasy. They're a promise written into the nature of life itself. Light always follows dark. Morning always follows night. And your better days, they're already on their way. You just have to be patient enough to meet them when they arrive. Hold on. Keep going. Be patient. Hope is working even when you can't feel it. Hold on to hope and comment, "Better days are coming and I am ready." Number 12. No regrets in life, just lessons learned. What hurt you can still teach you. Carry the wisdom, not the weight. You've been carrying something that doesn't belong to you anymore. It's called regret. And it's heavy. Heavier than the mistake itself. Heavier than the failure. Heavier than the choice you wish you could undo. You've been dragging it behind you, letting it define you, letting it convince you that your past disqualifies you from your future. But it doesn't. It never did. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters." And responding doesn't just mean in the moment. It means now, years later. It means deciding that what hurt you doesn't have to haunt you, that what taught you doesn't have to torment you. Regret is what happens when you focus on the wrong part of the story. You replay the mistake. You obsess over what you should have done differently. You punish yourself for not knowing then what you know now. But that's not fair. You made the best decision you could with the awareness you had at the time, and now you have more awareness. That's not failure. That's growth. Every mistake you've made carried a lesson. Every wrong turn taught you something about the right path. Every person who hurt you showed you what you won't tolerate again. Every failure revealed a strength you didn't know you needed. But you'll never access those lessons if you're too busy drowning in regret. The wisdom is there. It's waiting for you, but it requires you to shift your perspective, to stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this teach me?" To stop seeing yourself as a victim of your past, and start seeing yourself as a student of it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Your past is fixed. You can't rewrite it. But your interpretation of it, that's yours to shape. You can carry it as a burden or as a bridge, as evidence of your unworthiness or as proof of your resilience. The facts don't change, but the meaning you give them does. This doesn't mean dismissing the pain. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means honoring what happened by extracting value from it, by refusing to let it be meaningless, by deciding that if you had to go through it, you're going to make damn sure it wasn't for nothing. Carry the wisdom, not the weight. Take the lesson. Leave the shame. Keep the growth. Release the guilt. You're not the same person who made that mistake. You've learned. You've evolved. You've become someone who wouldn't make that choice again. That's the whole point. Regret keeps you stuck in a moment that no longer exists. But lessons move with you. They inform your future without imprisoning you in your past. They make you wiser without making you bitter. They remind you where you've been without dictating where you're going. Your past is not a life sentence, it's a classroom, and you've already paid the tuition. So stop auditing the same painful course over and over. Take the lesson, pass the test, graduate, and walk into your future lighter, wiser, and free from the weight you were never meant to carry. No regrets, just lessons. And a future that's still unwritten. Release what no longer serves you. Write, "I carry wisdom, not weight." You made it, all 12 lessons, and if you're still here, that means something. It means you're not just consuming content, you're searching for transformation. You're ready to fix what's broken, to heal what's hurting, to become who you're meant to be. These aren't just lessons, they're tools. And like any tool, they're only useful if you use them. You can't just know this wisdom, you have to live it. You have to practice it. You have to choose it again and again, especially when it's hard, especially when the world gives you every reason not to. The Stoics didn't teach philosophy in classrooms. They lived it in battlefields, in prisons, in moments of loss and uncertainty. They proved that peace isn't something you find, it's something you build, and you build it one choice at a time, one thought at a time, one response at a time. 93% of your problems aren't actually problems. They're reactions, they're stories, they're old wounds you keep reopening, but now you know better. Now you have the clarity to see the difference between what's happening and what you're making it mean. And that clarity, that's freedom. So, take these lessons with you. Write them down. Come back to them when life gets heavy. Share them with someone who needs to hear them. Because wisdom doesn't just change you, it changes everyone you touch. Before you go, do me one favor. If this video helped you, if it shifted something inside, hit that like button. Drop a comment. Share this with someone who's struggling. Subscribe to this channel because we're building something here. A community of people who refuse to stay broken, who choose growth over comfort, who choose wisdom over regret. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Now, go live these lessons. Your better days are waiting. Seal your commitment with this final declaration. I am the author of my own transformation.